Hello and welcome to another CBits Tech video. If you've watched my unboxing video or the coming up next video, you might know that I'm going to use this. I was planning to use this to fast forward and rewind a batch of about 75 cassettes that someone gave me for free. And I had about half a dozen left of a previous batch, which I'll put a card for up there. I was rewinding those and the belts finally gave up on this one. If you get tapes that haven't been played for a long time, the advice is to fast forward them all the way to the end of side A and then rewind them all the way to the beginning of side A before you play them, and it frees up the cassettes, frees up the tape on the spools. Well, that's what I was going to use this for, because it's got a twin, oh look, there's an extra one in there. It's got a twin cassette deck on it, so I could do two at a time. And it does have auto shut off, although that wasn't working. I think the belts were slipping. What it is, I've got a multi-pack of belts. I bought two multi-packs of belts. One was really cheap and they were awful belts, not fit for purpose. I sent those back even though they were a few quid. I couldn't let the seller get away with it. There was another set of belts I bought which are good enough for things like this, because I'm never going to play music on this one, but they might do for this. They're pretty good belts, but they're not Walkman quality belts. Someone did say in a comment that this could sound pretty good if I had the right belts on it. And it seems this year, or even late last year, everything I've tried to touch has failed to work. I've come to the conclusion that if you've got things like mini discs, you need to use them, mini disc players, you need to use them frequently, otherwise they stop working. Likewise, cassette decks, if you leave them any too long, then the belts take the shape of how they're positioned around the pulleys. So you've got to run them every little while. Look at the state of that. But it's the only one I've got long enough. Never had this one apart before. One of the few things that I bought that actually worked. I thought this might be easy, but I just realised the screws must go all the way through to the front. And there's no videos online about repairs for this. Well, that's a good start, isn't it? I had to do it off camera because it was making my back ache. But what I did was I undid the cassette deck doors, put my hand in like that, and it basically fell off. So what's going on here? Oh, look at that. So that's all wired in one place. Oh look, that's handy. There's just a little plug down there, right at the end of shot. So I'm going to be very careful taking that out. Try getting there with some long nose pliers. Equally rusty because my daughter borrowed them and left them in the garden. Yeah. I got my fingers in there and I don't want to pull the wires. Oh, there you go. Right, that's handy. Right, let's have a closer look. Okay, so this is the top, this is the bottom, and this is the face of the player. It's very dusty. Don't know what any of that is. Those are cassette decks. That one and that one. And then there's a fuse. Those are capacitors. Those are potentiometers or variable resistors, we used to call them. Well, I did anyway. So, okay, right, let's have a look at the pinch rollers. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's for the aerial. Huh. Right, there's one pinch roller. Really easy to get to. They feel I feel nice and grippy. That feels fine. A little bit dirty, but nice and grippy. So let's see if we can get the other one. There it is. Getting a little bit dirty, nice and grippy. Capstan feels fine. There's the head. That looks a bit dirty. Now I'm looking through the screen here, so I'm looking on a 5-inch screen. You might be looking on a 40-inch screen, so you can see much better than I can. So I'm going to have a look off camera. Now I can just about see one belt there. I've got my finger on it. It doesn't feel very springy. But what I was hoping was this would be easy to get out. I was hoping I'd take the case off and it would just fall out in one go. That's not the case, so I think there are some screws to undo. Oh, that's very pleasing shot there. I think this one here, this one over here, which you can't see where it goes, and possibly this one here, although it's a bit offset, are the only three I need to undo. Now you can see it nicely because the camera has better low light performance than my eyes. I should have done this during the day. It's Saturday today. Oh, let's have a look. Where's my clock? There you go. I can't do shoots daytimes anymore because I've got myself a proper job, a 9 to 5 job, in addition to my tech support business that I'm still going to keep going. So weekdays 9 to 5, I'm not doing any videos because I'm working for the man, if you see what I mean. Which does mean that most of my videos will be shot in the dark. Now, why has this got gunk on it? But the problem is with that natural light, all I've got is the overhead room light, and they're not brilliant for this. Can set up battery powered or USB powered lights, but then I get a phasing on the screen which looks terrible on camera. Alright, that one doesn't want to come out, so let's see what happens now when I try and move it. Oh my god. Okay, I think I'll have to undo that in a minute. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this one too. Yeah, so this screw here is for the tuning dial, and everything else seems mobile, so I'm going to have to take that off. Which is very handy because all these screws are the same size. Okay, the moment of truth. God, it's full of cobwebs. Oh, I can feel it caught on something. Now I know I'm going to have to undo this here. Can you see that down there? That cable, that socket there. Need a flathead screwdriver ideally. That will do. It's so dark down there I can barely see it. Oh, I can get my finger in there. Okay, there's something getting caught over here. Oh, hang on, you can't see. There's something getting caught here. Oh, cables. Sorry, you didn't see that. There's a little clip there. Clips into that hole there, so I can move that tuning thing out of the way. Oh my god. Oh my word, what am I doing here? And that, can you see it? I don't know whether you can see it. There's another one just under there, which I've got to detach. There it is. Oh. Oh. Let's see how I'm going to get this back in again. Ideally should be the other side of that, but alright, let's try and get this one out. Oh, my poor cassette player. Oh, there's another wire here, which you can't see. That one there. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Oh no, snapped it. So that is for... I wonder if that's ground. Oh, it is. It says ground. Just beyond there, it says ground. So I've got to feed that back in there, and hopefully it'll make good enough ground. Am I free now? Oh, there's another one here. This one here. Oh my god. That's filthy. Right, so let's have a look then. I'm going to take this away because I don't want it getting caught on any clips or anything. Oh wow. That's as low as I can get on this tripod. Right. So that's a belt counter. That moves quite slowly actually. So that's one of them. And that's the other one. Oh, that is very stretchy. That's not springy at all. Oh my god, there's another one there. Yeah, that's awful. Oh, hang on, we've got four of them. So we've got one motor. So the motor has two pulleys on it. One for this and one for this. Metal, what do they call them? Pulleys. And they operate the pinch rollers. No, capstans. They operate the capstans. So these are the capstan pulleys. And these are the... Hang on one second. Oh, I see. So depending on... Oh, I can do it here, can't I? So one of these will be fast forward. There we go. So when that's in one direction, that is pushed up against this cog under here. So this pushes, there's two cogs that mesh there. So that drives the take-up spool there. And if we push that one in, it moves it onto this one. And that drives the other take-up spool and spins that. So that's for fast forward, rewind and play. There's our stop. Is that stop? No, that might be, lost track of which one's which. That one's going to be play. So that's play. That's rewind. That's pause. That's rewind, puts it onto there. Oh god, that's awful, that belt. It's pathetic. Oh god, I wish everything was as easy to work on as this. Now, do I have... Now, I did check. I went online and I looked for replacement set of belts for this and there's none anywhere. So I've got to just use the spares I've got, which aren't great quality, but they're bound to be better than this. And at least they'll allow me to wind on the 70 odd tapes that I want to fast forward and rewind before I use them. If the sound quality is still rubbish, I'll try and get some better quality belts. But this is what Tecmone always does. It's a Mabushi, I think. Who makes the motor? We don't really know. But it's 9 volts and 2nd of July 1986. So it's 2024. So that makes it 38 years old. It'll be 38 years old this year. Amazing. Right, so I'm going to find some belts. And then once I found the belts and put those on, I'm going to give it a really good clean inside since it's open, and then put it back together. So let me find some belts. Literally that took me 15, probably 10 seconds to find those belts. So before I start anything else, just going to get my digital calipers out, or whatever they call them. Have a little look how wide this belt is. Square belts. I think it's going to be an imperial measurements. I'll just take the belt off, eh? I want to get it so it just grips a little bit. So what's that? 0.0495. So that's 5/100ths of an inch, 50,000ths of an inch. I found these belts here. If I've got a set, if I've got enough to make a set on here, I'll be very lucky. I think all of these are the same width, and we'll see if they fit neatly into the hole there. Yeah, I reckon that's pretty close. So let's unhook this one. We're going to do one side at a time. That one is at the top of the pulley. So I can't get that one off until I unhook the other one. So let's unhook that one first. Now that feels very dry, that belt. And this is the biggest belt I've got. No! Oh, hang on. Oh man, look at that. So that there, that little kink, my guess is that's where it's been sitting with that bit around the motor pulley and the rest around here. So I think that's going to be, so that one's slightly bigger and that's the old one. And it feels really dry, not rubbery at all. So this is how I like to, when I do that, I see how much they, same pressure on my fingers, see how much they bounce around. That's not very much. When we do that one, it's much more bouncy. So that one's going to do that one, but I can't put that one on, and I might as well, oh yeah, that one's very stretched as well. So let's do this one. Let's see where that one goes. Okay, so we've got a teeny little one there. They look bigger, don't they? Do they look bigger? Okay. So let's see if we've got one that size. Too small. Okay, this one that's a bit short is the new one. And I expect it to be a little bit shorter because it's new and this one's lost its elasticity. And the reason this one looks fatter than this one is because it's a square belt, it's sort of corner on. But when I turn it round, it's flat. It looks very similar. So that, I think, is going to be the replacement for that. So that's, I'm losing track here. So we've got old and new, old and new. That's all we need for that side. So let's fit those. Now, I'm not sure where that's supposed to go. Let's have a look. Zoom in 2 times. Yeah, there's the pulley under there. Ooh, look at that mess. I've got to clean that up. Oh, it's on that bottom pulley as well. Okay. Let me figure this out. Right, Can't get a Q-tip under there. So I need to get something under there. I mean, I know what I'm going to use. Never cleaned these up before. But I've got to get a... You can't even see it. Where you can see it? Under there. You can see the pulley under there? It's got bits of belt stuck on it. So I think... Oh, can I get in that way? No, not really. Right, I need to do this in the daylight. So I've got about 1,760 something subscribers. If you could all pop off to Patreon and subscribe for £1 a month, then that would give me net about 1,500 a month. I reckon I could be a full-time YouTuber for that. So off you go. Thanks a lot. Just kidding, of course. Right, I'm going to start with this one here because I just want to demonstrate what I'm going to do. And then the one underneath it I'll do off camera because it's just too fiddly. So I heard someone, one of my favourite YouTubers, a while ago said that someone recommended that people use paper. So this is IPA. Someone said use paper to clean the goo off your pinch roll, off your pulleys, where the belts had turned to goo. So I thought, no, cardboard's probably better for that. Spray it with IPA. And has it worked? No. Yeah, I think if you can get to them, IPA is going to be where to go. Oh, missed. IPA and a cotton bud. Actually, I don't know whether you can see it, but it doesn't look too bad now. So I'm going to try and put the belts back on. So what do we do with them? I think my new belt has fallen onto my old belt. Oh, that's definitely the old one. Right, so let's go under there. And there's that little bit under there that I've got to try and avoid because that's what it got stuck on when I took it off. So let's see how this is going to go here. Now actually I forgot to clean this pulley. But is that a clutch? Yeah, I think there's a clutch in there. Right, is that on? Looks like it. Okay. There's a new one that's got to go under here. Okay. Okay, moving on. Got this one here. Okay, two more to find. Too big, I think. Too small. Look, I think I broke that, or it broke itself. Okay, so that one's gone. That one and that one I think are the ones we want, aren't they? Oh no. Oh. Yeah, I've got myself in a right mess here. I don't know which belt goes which. Right, it's the next day, very late on a Sunday night. The decision has been made. And while I talk, I'll just demonstrate this feature of old dual cassette deck players. You could put one on play and pause and the other one on play. And when it got to the end of this one, it would automatically turn itself off and start playing this one. So that'll happen in a few seconds. But meanwhile, Yesterday my phone ran out of battery while I was recording. While I had the belt, I was trying to figure out what belts I was putting on where. I'd got them muddled up, and because it was late yesterday as well, I didn't restart the recording, but I did get the belts put on the right spools. But in order to fix the belts, I've managed to break two other things on this boombox. So down here, there we go. So that one stopped, that one started again. It's nice to be able to see the mechanism fully without the cover on it. So I think you saw earlier on there's a ground wire under there which has come out of its crimped connector, and I can't get the plastic and metal connector off. So that's got to be fixed as well. Now I could bodge that, but there's a bigger problem. This wire here goes round here to the record and playback head. So when it's recording, it's this wire responsible for writing the music or the data onto the tape. And when it's playing, it goes through this wire down there and off somewhere to the amp, which is the other side of the unit. The problem is, if I can get in there, that white connector under there, just down there, when I connect this up, I'm only getting one channel. I'm only getting, I think it's the right channel. No, it's the left. Yeah, the right channel. I'm not getting the left channel of the tape playing. And if I pull the connector out a little bit, sometimes it will connect. But what I found is if I push hard down on this connector here, then both channels come back. So I suspect this connector goes through, the pins go through the circuit board to the other side, and there's a cold solder joint, like a broken solder joint. And I've asked the opinion of some of the experts. I'm very lucky, I've got quite a few electronics experts who look out for me basically. They watch my videos and answer questions when I've got them. And they say the only real way to get, 4 out of 5 of them so far have said the only real way to solve this is to take the whole circuit board out, flip it over and resolder the joints on there. So that's what I'm going to do in a couple of weeks' time. But meanwhile, as I've said already, I've got over 70 cassettes which need to be wound on and rewound. And since this is functioning as a winder, I'm going to do that. Because if I took the circuit board out now, not that I've got time to do it, and I broke something else, then I haven't got the useful function of being able to wind forwards and backwards 2 cassettes at once. So that's what I'm going to do first. So it's going to be at least 2 or 3 weeks before I get this circuit board out and fix it. And that will be 2 or 3 weeks probably from the time this video has gone up that you'll see the second half of the fix. But in terms of the belts, this is the belts, the multi-pack of belts I had. I can't remember where I got them, but they're pretty good. As I said earlier on, I'd received some other belts which were so badly shaped they weren't good for purpose. And this is playable with these belts on, even though they're a cheap multi-pack. It is, you can listen to it and still enjoy it. It's not the best quality. I did manage to source from a better supplier what I think are belts specifically from this, for this unit. So once I've got the PCB out, if my repairs of the solder joints and what have you have worked, then I'll splash out the £16 to get the belts and then replace these OK belts with the best possible quality belts I can get for it. And hopefully after all that work I'll have a decent sounding boombox, probably better than anything that can be bought today new. So despite a few things going wrong and me not being able to use this as a player, replacing those belts has meant that I can use it for what I wanted it to use it for. And that was to fast forward this 70 odd cassettes and then rewind them all, so I don't have to wear out one of my better decks to do it. So in that respect it's a success, but unfortunately I've caused myself a few other problems, and I don't really want to send this off to e-waste, because although this mech isn't the best mech you can possibly get, or the best mech that was made at this time, it's still better than any cassette mechanism that you can buy now. So if I can get a decent set of belts in there, then I've got a decent cassette player, better than anything I could buy new today. So I think that's it. I'm going to clear up my desk ready for work tomorrow and then get to bed. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.